Gabby pointed out, it depends on what gets covered, right? Now, Donald Trump is saying the media won't cover something like this, and there's a pattern to this behavior. In fact, so much that Donald Trump thinks it's rigged. And it raises an issue how someone like Ronald Reagan would handle this kind of a blitz. Well, he did have variations of the same blitz. I asked his former budget director, David Stockman, about it. Do you think Ronald Reagan, I know a very different guy, but do you think he could have survived this media today back in 1980?
I doubt it. I doubt it. And, you know, back in the summer of 1980, it was the same charge. He was a wild man. We didn't want his finger on the button. The difference between the way Reagan prepared himself, listened to his advisors, worked on his lines over and over, tried to figure out how to communicate in a way that would be compelling. You know, this guy isn't doing any of this. He's decided to take the whole ship down.
All right. It's not too late to change. To former Bush 41 campaign advisor Mark Serrano, that's what they all seem to be saying that Donald Trump has to do. Focus on this type of stuff getting out. Focus less on the women and their allegations that seem to be perfectly timed to come out. What do you think?
Well, you know, you're comparing the actor and the aggressor, Neil, and one very, very interesting distinction from that era and this era is the national media back then enjoyed ratings for trust in media of 75 to 80%. You know, today they don't, and Donald Trump, I think, is leveraging that mistrust of the national media, particularly with these disclosures that there's such insidious collusion between the media and the establishment elite and political class and the Democrats. It's rather extraordinary. I think he has no choice at this point, Neil, because by doing so, he's going to really rally his base and also attract a lot of independents who do not trust the media.
Now, how did Ronald Reagan handle this sort of stuff? It wasn't at all the same. It was a different time, to your point. But there were a lot of folks who said, hey, you're just a dumb actor, you co-starred with a chimp, leaving out the fact he was a two-term successful governor of California. It seemed to me, if I remember correctly, you're much, much older than I am, not, but that he just let it sort of roll off. I mean, and he didn't pay attention. Maybe privately it was a different Ronald Reagan, but he didn't seem to care. What are lessons there?
Yeah, he dealt with such aplomb, you know. He had such a natural way about him to redirect the discussion to Jimmy Carter's failed policies. And look, we were in such a devastatingly bad place for the economy back then. I think it was easier for Reagan to be able to leverage that bad record at that time. Now, a lot of people, including myself, would say we are in just as bad shape today, the economy, our national security, but, you know, we are in the midst of a recovery as pathetic as it is. And so the challenge here now today, relative to what Reagan was able to do with such class and artfulness, is for Trump to be able to expose the collusion, for him to be able to also talk at the same time, like he needs to at the debate, talk about his way forward. And his way forward is tax cuts that'll lift us up, you know, versus Hillary Clinton, who really does want more of the same. Look, this is a war and a battle for power between the establishment and an outsider, just like it was with Reagan. The difference is there is such obvious collusion with the media, and they don't really care anymore. They don't care about their trust rating.
But
now they really just want the establishment.
You make a compelling case, as you always do, Mark, but I mean, how do you make that case without sounding like you're whining or you're criticizing the refs, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree, because, you know, there are those who say, well, it's been this way for a long time with the media. Well, that doesn't make it right. So I think what he's got to do is find that right balance of showing that he's tough, he's going to fight for the American people. Here are some of the policy positions he's taken to do that on our border and with our tax policies. And Hillary Clinton has accomplished nothing in 30 years, and she's got the media in her back pocket. They are working together, and we now have the proof that they're doing so. It's all balanced, Neil. I think he's got to have a balanced message.
We'll see what he says in Vegas. Thank you, Mark.